at this point, I was getting that knee collapsing thing that happens where like you're walking around and your knees are just buckling. So
okay, you're walking around and your knees are just buckling. Correlating it to my recovery. Before I fucked around with 5AR expression, I never had that ever. I could obliterate my legs and walk out the gym. It'd be hard to walk. I'd feel all pumped up lactic acid. But now, if I train too hard, I just feel the pump deteriorate. I feel my knees collapse and I overall feel wobbly as shit as if I'm on stilts. What is up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Today's ASMR sip is 1907wire.com, coupon code Russo. And today's ASMR spritz is Intelligent Elephant Cobalt. Hear your noises. Super heavy scent. Gotta buy it to smell it. All other links in the comment below to support this unbiased shadow banned content. Today, I'm going to be featuring James English. I'm going to be reacting to his training vlog where I noticed certain things he said and how it correlates to my recovery from PFS, post-lion's mane, post-Accutane, something fucking around with the neurosteroid cascades primarily, right? I had different issues that stopped me from being able to recover. Now that I can linearly recover neurosteroid cascade issues, especially Allopregnanolone, which is known for skeletal bulbar contractions. I'll have Andrew throw up that science mumbo jumbo. But based on the modcast, this is all public information that James is a superstar studded IFBB pro athlete at such a young age. High performance guy, very strong arm wrestler, neurosteroids, and he's trying to, again, compete in the pro ranks, meaning he got his pro card. Now it's time for him to bulk up and become Jumbo Jam, and he's always complained about his leg size. He's been on Finasteride for I don't know how long. He has virtually no acne side effects, no, crazy morphing side effects considering the amount of gear he has used. He basically only has the hair loss issue, right? It's kind of like that thing where, everyone has a certain side effect of gear. And then if you're Chris Pumpstead, you have none. Although Chris has lost some hair over the years in the autoimmune, but you always have like some sort of thing. Like my acne was absolutely terrible. I'll have Andrew throw out my acne, and I've suffered tons of hair loss during this, right? The best, most effective way to treat this is with Finasteride. I've already been on my rampage with Finasteride.
Rampage.
But when I see something like this, I'm just going to give my 2 cents and give him an ability to smoke a blunt on this and think about this. Neurosteroid cascades are important when you're arm wrestling, when you're exerting vigor, when you're trying to become a full man. You go through the boy phase, then you turn into a man phase later in your life. Some guys don't even turn into a man these days. But best believe Jam is putting in that work day after day, eating like a horse. But he's blocking 5-alpha reductase, right? Obviously, which is lowering his DHT, which he wants, but is also lowering all this other shit that he probably doesn't know the significant impact. And I'm going to relate this to my recovery. So I highly suggest you watch James's full day of eating. It's very good. Again, this is a very genetically gifted guy who has accomplished a lot. He actually competed. He actually won. He actually got his pro card. He's not some bullshit influencer with no accolades at his shoulder. But he's already had leg surgery, which is interesting. And I don't go into private conversations, but it seems like James is relying on BPC 157 and TB 500 a lot because of this leg surgery. He's worried about his joints, tendons, and ligaments. Relating that to my recovery, I'll showcase. But I did want to show what he specifically said.
I'm not going to try to power through it, whereas once upon a time I would just try to get right through it. But I'm focusing more on tempo, and holy shit, my back is sweaty. But yeah, I was focusing more on tempo and just like the muscle contraction rather than just moving weight around. So then I moved on to Bulgarians, and I was supposed to do this. So I did the leg press for 3 sets, and I think I was supposed to do the Bulgarians for 3 sets as well. But I ended up cutting it at 2. I messaged Kyle and I said, hey, this is irritating my adductor. Should I just try to get through it, or should I just move on?
I want to paint this and correlate for whatever you may be. When I was healthy, before I took the Gorilla Mind shroom pills and died, right? My legs were bulletproof, massive, horse legs, minotaur legs. Everyone in the gym is like, stop training legs, Russo, because my upper body was so small compared to my legs. But I never had any adductor issues, never had any tendon issues, literally felt strong as shit all the time, could obliterate my legs. Like, I could do leg day every day and still be able to go in there. That's how much I love training legs. You know, my flaccid penis size fluctuates like crazy dependent on how much neurosteroids I have available and what muscles are requesting what, because they're not making their own 5-AR1. I've definitely learned, you know, through hardship that, you know, blocking 5-AR1 is going to fuck up the size of your legs, point blank. Now that I'm fighting in this recovery, I do have tendon issues. It feels very wobbly. Towards the end of my workout, my knees start to collapse. I have issues walking, and overall, my leg size, my fluff from the Allopregnanolone not being able to uncontract my legs to the full size. I'm still strong, but I never achieved that crazy leg pump that I once did, and I'm trying to get back to that, and that's been the real problem, is me trying to turn these legs fully back on. It's been brutal. I've been injecting shit tons of stuff into each of my legs each day and just going in there obliterating, and maybe I'll feel like my old legs for like 5 minutes, but then like my strength's not gone, but I'll notice my legs slowly deteriorate. They're not holding a pump, and then towards the end of the workout, my knees start to collapse. I have issues walking, and overall the contractions just aren't like how they once were, where it's getting to a point where I'm in desperation trying to turn these legs back on, training legs every day and injecting thousands of dollars of drugs into my legs to try to turn it back on, which it could be multiple things, right? I've been talking to Alex Keekle. He gave me a few pointers. Gonna feature him on the channel about him being the one that's actually been able to move me along in recovery the most, and I'm forever grateful that he gave me a bunch of free advice and actually took me seriously and believed in it. But I don't think James knows any of this. Not only is this impacting his mind state, he's overall lowering the neurosteroids in his brain. He's also not getting enough neurosteroids to the bottom of the spinal cord, it seems like, to where you look at his upper body and it's just straight up IFBB Pro, perfect insertions, literally has perfect shape everywhere, all bubbly. His legs are incredibly strong. If you watch this workout, he does a fuck ton of volume, ton of strength. I've seen him do insane feats of strength with his legs. They don't match size-wise the volume he's able to do, because in my opinion, he's cucking himself with this fin on his legs. And I saw this also with the Weston Garland Gorilla Mind athlete as well. I've Andrew throw up his legs. I'm not here to draw, oh, which paradigm should these guys be in? That's for them to smoke a blunt on and be by themselves, make up their mind, right? Because vanity biohacking and performance biohacking, I've already made a video arguing you just pick one. You're either for performance or you're for vanity. The reason I'm making this video is because James has potential to be an Olympian. Stupid high performance. He also has showed that he wants to get into combat mat training as well as continue his crazy arm wrestling career, right? He's already arm wrestled and beat a bunch of crazy strong guys, which I'm sure is hammering his central nervous system as he's cucking it with Finn.
And he said, just move on, it's not worth it. So I ended up just doing 2 sets here, 2 on each leg. Only filmed 1. I didn't film every workout, every set this work.
So my 2 cents, you can see that he's faded and fatigued into this workout. I'm just relating it to me. I could kill my legs. Perfect balance, right? I was a wrestler, perfect balance. Had crazy dexterity in the way I could push through my legs. Now, if I do walking lunges at the end, I'm all wobbly. Like my central nervous system doesn't work right because the expression or the neurochemicals in my cerebral spinal fluid are off. I just see this at such a young guy with so much potential, and I get that the hair is very important, dating statistics, vanity biohacking is a real thing. I'm not here to be like, oh, don't vanity biohack when I'm over here ruining my body performance biohacking. This is an example of an extreme athlete. I just think that a lot of his issues correlate around him stopping 5-alpha reductase, and for him to research into all the benefits of higher levels of 5-alpha reductase, it might change his mind.
Workout. And then I moved on to another exercise that I would say is my bread and butter, which is leg extensions. So I fucking hate plate-loaded machines, but the other one was being used up. And for reference weight, I went and looked at what Derek Lunsford was using because, you know, he's a gorilla of a man, and he did 6 plates for 20 reps. There was no fucking hope for me doing that, so I tried 5 plates. I think I got like 10 reps. Dropped down, did 4 plates for I don't even know how many, then dropped down, did 3 plates for like 15, and I think I even went down to 2. Or no, I think I did 3 plates again. It did, yeah, 3 plates again, and at this point, I was getting that knee collapsing thing that happens where, like, you're walking around and your knees are just buckling, so...
Okay, you're walking around and your knees are just buckling. Correlating it to my recovery. Before I fucked around with 5-AR expression, I never had that ever. I could obliterate my legs and walk out the gym. It'd be hard to walk. I'd feel all pumped up lactic acid. But now, if I train too hard, I just feel the pump deteriorate. I feel my knees collapse, and I overall feel wobbly as shit as if I'm on stilts. And that's been the fight that I've been in. James definitely doesn't have the same amount of side effects I do. He didn't crash, but he's so young. He's still maturing into a full-grown ass man. He's blocking 5-alpha reductase. He's pushing his body in the direction of wanting more 5-alpha reductase, aka the extreme amount of skeletal muscle tissue, to a point where he's an IFBB pro at such a young age. The extreme arm wrestling, which is jacking his central nervous system up to the max, literally fighting someone else's central nervous system, right? That's what arm wrestling is. And then he's going around taking a 5-alpha blocker, and it's causing him these issues, in my opinion. You can mask this with TB500 and BPC157, but to constantly be in fear around this when you have so much potential is something worth considering. I get it. Everyone's different with the hair loss side effects. Personally, when I had horrendous, horrible, cystic acne all over me, it impacted my confidence, but I already looked into all the side effects of Accutane, and I did not want to risk the dice roll of doing Accutane. That's me personally. All the people in my DM box who have been suffering from years, crippled, barely able to walk, can attest that it's a dice roll to do Accutane. I never did Accutane. I worked around it by natural means. I definitely don't have the best skin on the planet, the most clear skin on the planet, but I overall just dealt with it. It's a side effect that I was predisposed to, and I accepted it, right? Because I want the performance, right? I could have just stopped doing gear, could have stopped with the androgenic acne, but no, I want to do the gear. I want to get to the most high performance version of myself, and I want to be in the highest state to where I feel the most powerful, like I'm leveling up constantly, like I'm maxing all my stats out like James is. This bottleneck could lead to more injuries around his legs and or cause him more joint problems because his 5-alpha expression is going to continue to try to go up as he pushes his body to new levels, and he's all in on high performance training. Why are we having this 5-alpha reductase inhibitor in here? It seems to already be causing issues when he's tolerating it young. Wait till his 5-AR expression increases as he gets older and turns into a man. These are things to consider.
Yeah, this was definitely a dig deep kind of set right here. I think I got another one. Tried to hold it a little bit. Yeah. And now I'm just like pacing around trying to get the lactic acid to leave my legs. But yeah, that's it for the workout. All right, post-workout, this is...
That's why I wanted to feature. I am just drawing a correlation between my recovery to some of the side effects that he talked about in this video. He publicly stated on the modcast that he takes Fin. And just as a dude who still says what he wants to say in this day and age and isn't super fucking PC, I'd like him to smoke a blunt and think to himself about what paradigm he wants to be in and maybe switch. I don't know. That's up to him. But I feel like him just like being in the dark about that of like, hey dude, at that age, you should be able to obliterate your legs. They shouldn't be collapsing and caving in at the end. Especially when you're that fucking strong, dude. I watched all this strength volume. He did all this hack squat volume, and then he did all this fucking leg press volume, and then he did individual lunges. Your legs should not be collapsing at the end. Your knees shouldn't be collapsing in. Sure, you should feel the lactic acid and you should have a nasty pump and you should feel all the fibers. But I feel like based on your injuries and based how your leg size, just the size of them, which could be literally a direct impact from blocking 5-alpha reductase, which blocks allopregnanolone, which I'll have Andrew throw the studies around skeletal muscle contractions and allopregnanolone, aka your ability for your leg muscles to expand to the full size that you've already built them to, but you're cucking your legs by taking fin. I really hope that this hits and he sees that there is something that's going on there and that it will get worse. It will not get better. It will get worse because he's pushing himself to be a full-grown ass man, a real man, and he's already at such an extreme level of performance to where his CNS, his central nervous system, wants to be uncucked. I'll see you guys in my next video.